Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be holding my very own long Furby creation. Okay, can you just sit down for a second? Thank you. Right, where to begin with this process? This was a very painful process. The whole long Furby creation wasn't exactly easy. I mean, I knew it wasn't gonna be easy because I didn't want to spend like £1,000,000 on the ball joint spine armature thing that all the professional Furby makers use. So me and my friend Bianca set out to make our own kind of budget version long Furby. And honestly, I forgot how much I hate sewing. I'm not gonna lie to you, I am a model maker, I'm a props maker. My tools of choice are pneumatic power drills and glue guns. I'm not great at sewing. That's why you'll never look too closely at these boys. Okay, I'll show you, but if you look at the seams, you'll never see the back of their heads. It's a massacre back there. Anyway, this whole process took about 4 days. Me and my friend Bianca, we started thinking it was going to take 2 days max. She's actually a very talented sewer. Her Furby turned out amazing. Like, she could probably sell hers for a bunch of money. Whereas mine is literally Frankenstein's monster. She very kindly let me use her sewing machine, which she has. I swear anyone that has a sewing machine is just automatically a seamstress. That's the way it works, right? But yeah, this whole process from start to end took about 4 days. That's over 25 hours we spent making long Furbies. So let's start from the top in case you are interested in making your very own long Furby or you just want to see the pain. Okay, so first up I had to order the Furby. In my head, my vision was to actually have a normal sized Furby with 3 heads. Normal sized heads, but I actually ended up ordering 3 McDonald's Happy Meal Furbies, which I used to collect, by the way. 2 of them were in their original packaging. One of them had been touched, used. The Furbies that I used were like from 2000 or 2001 Happy Meals, and I think Bianca's is based off of a 2002 series or maybe a 2001 series, and they all had names. My ones didn't have names. I have to name mine myself, but hers is based upon a mini Furby which is named Rockstar Spicy. So Bianca decided she was making a giant version of Rockstar Spicy. Anyway, once I'd ordered my Happy Meal Furbies and they arrived, I unpackaged them and it was time to start dismembering them. So I carefully cut out the white stomach shape and then I had to cut a long version of that to attach for the necks of each head, if that makes sense. I mean, they didn't really have a body, like the whole body was the head. And then Bianca just ordered her own plastic white face, which she hand painted herself. Bianca painted her face so well. She did like these purple pink irises with stars in, and it turned out so nice. Once she painted that, I did a little sealing spray over the top, like a clear coat, just to seal in all the colors. And this clear coat spray is actually really good. I'd highly recommend it if you have any surface that needs priming or sealing. But yeah, once I had cut off my heads from their tiny bodies, I cut out the long neck shapes, and then Bianca very kindly sewed that together for me in the sewing machine. Like, I had to cut out a back piece, a black back piece for the necks, as well as the fur. I realized because the fur was so long, I could actually use the fur to hide a lot of the problems that I inevitably was going to create, because the fur on this material was so long, it would kind of cover any bad seams. By the way, I should have said at the beginning, this Peppa Pig tattoo is not real. It's temporary. I mean, I love Peppa Pig, but I don't know if I love her that much, you know? So yeah, my plan was to make these 3 necks and then just attach them to a big fork-shaped chest, and then attach that to a long tube body. Whereas Bianca very skillfully constructed Senor Spicy's whole head herself and then just stuck the plastic face upon it at the end. So I cut the fork shape of my Furby's body with absolutely no precision at all. Like, I should have measured probably, or at least folded it over so it was symmetrical, but did I do that? No. And once I cut the body shape out in the material, I then used the sewing machine. And I was a little bit apprehensive about using a sewing machine at first because I literally have not used a sewing machine since school. But yeah, using a sewing machine is actually really fun once you're up and running and you're going really fast and the needle is going like the clappers. So yeah, I guess that was actually pretty fun, using the sewing machine. It's just so much faff, like knotting it around and making sure it's all done, and then it keeps undoing and you keep losing your thread. It's just like, oh, give me a glue gun now. Do you want to know what the most painful part of this process was? It wasn't the cost of the materials. It wasn't the sewing machine. It was the fur. The fur. The fur. This fur is so flyy. I don't even know how to describe it. It just flies everywhere. Like, it was just in the air constantly. Let me tell you, I breathed in so much fake fur whilst I was making this Furby. It was just in the air constantly. The little bits flying everywhere, the strands, the particles in my lungs. My lungs are so hairy right now. I have the furriest lungs in the world. If there's a condition called fur lung, me and Bianca definitely have it by now. It's just like every single time we moved the material, picked it up, shook it a tiny bit, cut it, particles, fur everywhere, in the air, in my eyes, stuck to my foundation. It was a nightmare. I can literally taste it. I don't know if I'm just having flashbacks, but I swear there's fur in my mouth right now. There's fur in my mouth. That is so cursed. You are literally a curse upon me, do you know? I guess you are worth it. It's in my makeup. There's so much fur on my clothes just from holding him for these brief moments. Bianca wanted to create a little like pink mohawk on the top of Senor Spicy's head, and the fur that she used for that was just beyond fluffy. Like, it was everywhere. I'm sure that fur will be in her lungs for many years to come. Anyway, I used the sewing machine to create their long Furby body, and then once I'd sewn the body together, I just had to create these little feet. I just copied what Bianca did for the feet because she did 2 little pockets of stuffing with yellow felt, and then she backstitched 2 lines onto each foot to give them 2 little toes. Obviously, I made a bunch of mistakes during this process and I had to like unpick a load of my stitching. I didn't use the machine to do the feet because they were so small. I just did some hand sewing. And then once all the sewing machine work was done and I'd created the tube body, I just had to stuff it. We just bought a bunch of toy stuffing from Hobbycraft. Because my Furby was so skinny, I had to like use a tube or something to push the stuffing into the body. Stuffing it took quite a while for me because it was just such an awkward shape. It's not easy stuffing a trident shape. It is literally like a trident shape. King Neptune would be proud of this. And then there was the case of the wire which needed to go inside our Furbies. We thought that we could just get some Hobbycraft wire, double it up so it was nice and strong, and put it in the Furbies and they would bend to our very will. But no, it did not work like that. We tried to put the Hobbycraft wire into the Furbies and it just did not work. Like, it was not strong enough, even though we doubled it and taped it. So of course I had to go back out. I went to Hobbycraft, they didn't have any thicker wire. I found more stuffing though. I went to a garden centre in B&Q and I managed to find this thick garden wire, which was £16, by the way. I mean, like, we were saving a lot of money by not buying a ball and joint armature. We had to go with this wire instead, and it worked a lot better than the thin silver Hobbycraft wire. We still had to double it up and I added so much wire into my Furby just so I could make the head stand up a bit so it wasn't just a slug Furby, you know? Nobody wants a boneless Furby. Anyway, once the wire was in, I just closed up the tube at the bottom in a normal hand sewn stitch, whereas Bianca fully created like a Furby butt. Mine was already a monster, like mine was a mess already, so I was like, I'm just gonna close the tube. But yeah, once I'd glued the feet on, I was finished and my Furby child was created. Bianca's is very nicely made. If you want to go have a look at hers, check out her Insta. I'll leave a link down below so you can go see Senor Spicy. Which reminds me, I don't have a name for my Furby yet. Furbies? I think I'm gonna name each individual head. And actually, I asked you guys on Insta for some ideas. I'm gonna decide on a name today, right here, right now. Okay, so I asked you on Insta. Okay, we have Boggis, Bunce and Bean. I believe that's a Roald Dahl reference. Larry, Barry and Sally. It's a bit straight. Sam, Bill and Harry. Oh, Sam, Bill and Harry from Mamma Mia. Controversial opinion, but I don't actually like ABBA that much. I'm sorry. Don't go wasting your emotion. Fricky, Fracky and Fruki. Megara, Pain and Panic. Famine, disease, war. Put them together and they are death. A separate person has said War, Famine, and Beatrice. The middle head has blue eyes and the other two have grey eyes. Beatrice would have blue eyes. You know what? I think I'm going to mix two of your ideas together and I'm going to go with Pain, Panic, and Beatrice. I've already posted a Furby video to the song WAP on TikTok. If you're interested in seeing that, my TikTok is @Hannah. I'll probably be making more Furby TikToks with Pain, Panic, and Beatrice. And yeah, there's so much fur up my nose again. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for helping me name my new child. I hope that you enjoyed watching Pain, Panic, and Beatrice come into the world. And remember to like and subscribe if you want more content. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.